Wat?
Ek het ewe skielik nou power, ag nie power nie, energy gekry.
Bereid. En ry.
Ja,
Lekker maar Reina.
ek luister net gou weer die begin van hierdie keis. En myne het nie geauto sy nie.
Well, okay. Ja, nee, is cool. Dit gee my gou kans om my stream te share.
Wat op hierdie ding? Net gou weer die begin van hierdie keis.
Jy kom al klaar deur hier. Well, okay. Ja, nee, is cool.
O, as ek op die stream.
Ja.
Wat op hierdie ding? Net gou weer die begin van hierdie keis.
Jy kom al klaar deur hier. Well, okay. Ja, nee, is cool.
O, as ek op die stream.
Ja.
Wat op hierdie ding?
Jy kom al klaar deur.
O, as ek op die stream.
Ja. Alright, nou dink jy ingaan.
Okay. Ek is ook nou uitgesê web. Ag, okay. Wat is table? Letters on the table, take a look.
Ja, ek het ook nog nie na die letter gekykie. Wat? Hierdie het groot anti staan nog steeds daar so.
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
On what table?
Oorkant, ja.
A wax? I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry. The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
Wat? Bla bla bla
So,
tospraat.
what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always, it appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the EB monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Okay. Abbey Grange sê hy. Wel daar.
Ek luister nou, ek het nou net nie gestop.
Ja, hakkie game so.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
Die
A
morning
violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise a right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
Alright, she's in the dining to the right. Wat's hier? Kan ek hier in?
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Ja, hier is vol saniness, né?
Lord Brigham, Lord Ramsay Brackenstall, Baron Lyndon Brackenstall,
Baron Linden.
Sir Warthen Bracken,
What? Uit
Lord
het sy-
George Brackenstall. The Brackenstall family seems
Hello, Tanny.
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock
Kijk, iemand het daar
Holmes.
wat
I'm
iets
assisting
hebt,
Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes,
Raar,
I am the wife of Sir Eustace
Sy was
Brackenstall. We
beslis
were
'n
married
puntjie
only a
te
year
dink.
ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
Kom ons doen gou 'n profile. Fresh bruises sê die dan. Hy sê fresh bruises. Wat gaat hy aan? Pale cheeks, hy's 'n vampire. Elegant dress. Old bruises on her hands. Iemand het daar gewitsel. Ek weet nie.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went
And
upstairs,
then?
I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and, oh God,
Please, go on.
as I approached the French window, I found myself face to
And
face with an
then?
elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw two others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were three, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
My brave Teresa.
Did these three villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Your ladyship.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Dis hartseer.
Your ladyship?
Hey, jy kry ek ook nou uiteindelik jou ladyship. Dan kan ek ook met die ander tannie praat.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Die ou vrou die.
Ja, ek het nou
Ouer vrou
Teresa.
met haar rinkels.
profile time. Wrinkles.
O, jy het ook rinkels gekry.
Coffee stain.
As I sat by my
Yeah.
bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the
Working
moonlight down by
hands.
the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied
And
to the chair and
then?
him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
And then okay.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
Kom teer hierdie ding man, wat's happening here?
What am I missing?
A trapper's hut.
Ha! Hey, Randall.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
Oei, oei, oei. Object of interest.
So the lady
Okay.
and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
Okay, vat maar net die antie se foto, no problem.
Your ladyship.
These scratches are most definitely
Oei,
made by the
oei, oei.
picture frame.
Oh, wat 'n weekie. Oh,
This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it. Your ladyship?
so moet ek nou 'n safe se lock try piek.
Let us
Ja, die
try
sit
to
ek nou
open
mee
this
bezig.
safe.
Oh,
This
okay,
safe
okay.
can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Aha!
Kijk, daar is 1. Kijk het Tom.
Ek het hom ook besig om die note te lees.
O, ja, jy speel jy, né?
Ek doen net, ek speel die game.
Oh, you're that guy. Gelkie?
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Ek vat ek 'n paar note daar.
Ek sê net 'n pakkie of 2 man.
Oh, what a horrible...
En 'n coin ook sommer. Miskien is dit so $10,000
Sir
coins.
Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behavior.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress.
Mistress.
Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead. But a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was especially hard for her.
Okay.
Oh, what a horrible thing to have...
Okay.
Wat sê jy hele straat?
Is jy alweer buite?
Ja, ek dink ek's nou klaar
What
met
do you
alles wat
know
daar was.
about Sir Eustace, Inspector?
Oh, okay.
What was his
Ek het nog iets
reputation?
gery daar,
A
maar
charming
Ja, op
man
die
when
klein tafeltjie.
sober, but an absolute
Yeah.
demon when he was drunk. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
Nee, het my nou sê, wat het jy nog hier binne gekry? Wat ek nog gemis het? Ek is seker ek het alles gekry hier. Ja nee, ek was klaar hier. I am sure of it. Okay, what's on the side?
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
Ooh, fuck, okay.
Jy het by die dooie man uitgekom. Dis 'n groot jaard.
The hunting scene. Antique hunting weapons. These wine bottles are expensive and mostly from France. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen. An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents.
Wat mis ek hier?
Dit nou dit.
A bottle of wine is missing here. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house. They only took a little silverware. The hunting scene. A deer hunt. A fur trader's cabin. So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
That must be the murder weapon. The head was cracked with the force of the blow. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress. Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon.
Blijkbaar mis ek nog iets. Wat mis ek op die ore?
It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That
Sure.
is one possible explanation.
Ja, ek wou sê ja.
This glass has some wine
Interesting.
traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had
Wait.
not been decanted before being poured. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear. A decanter standing next to the open bottle, an inseparable pair indeed. Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine. Grand
Chateau Calon Ségur.
Oh, you also found that one.
Dude, ons is 'n lockdown. Hoekom sal ek hierdie dop vind?
The death was instant.
Oh shit. Wat ons eerste soek is dop. Kan ek hier ingaan? Obviously not. Weet jy maar, hier is 'n massiewe groot stuk tuin hoor.
Ja, ek is nog steeds hier binne in die ding besig, hoor.
Ja, ek het klaar na die kabinet toe gegaan en al daai staffies.
Nee, maar het jy die tee gekry?
Wat se tee?
As jy mos tee druk, dan kry jy dan
O nee,
kyk
nee,
jy-
ek moet nog albei uitkom. Ek het net eers kom kyk wat in hierdie groot tuin aangaan wat lyk nou niks nie.
Aha.
Okay.
Okay, now I found that. Okay. Ek het die tee gekry.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me.
Okay. Sal jy nou upstairs bedrooms toe gaan nie?
It appears that
Wat is dit nou dit?
Wat?
Net die stukkie rope wat jy niks meer kan doen nie.
Ja, maar dit is gee 'n profiel van die killer. Moet langer as Holmes wees.
Oh. Wag, hier's 'n deur. Ek kan nog by die deur seker ingaan.
this door leads to the upstairs.
Moet jy ook na die upstairs bedroom.
Ja, kan nie aangaan nie. Wat lyk of enigiets in die tuin is hier.
I must go find Toby.
Hier's Toby.
Die hond.
O, vir wie het jy dit gesê?
Collect Toby van Baker Street. So back to Baker Street I am.
Ek sien nie wat jy hardloop en alweer weg hè. Ek vaat hier buite in die tuin rond, maar ek het nog my deductions gedoen.
Ek ook nie. Die beer. Open deduction. Nee, ek het nog niks daar gedoen nie.
O, okay, dan kom ek los dit ook aan vir nou. Kyk ons gewek Toby het. Hy het seker iewers gesê wat ek nou net nie geluister het nie. Nee,
Of nie.
inspect the crime scene in the dining room. So ek mis nou nog iets hier blykbaar.
Ja, sê Toby op die grond. Kom hier Toby.
Nou, wat sê ek nou hier gemis het, dink jy? Wie is 'n stoel? Ek het hierdie stoel gekry met
Sailor's
die tou nie.
knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers.
So ek het
We
terug
need
Abbey
a
Street.
scent. I will take it with me.
Ja, hier sit Toby in die carrier.
This is the
case.
chair.
Ja nee, dis cool. Ek het hom ook nou gekry. Bietjie gaan Toby haal nou. Kom ons slap bietjie deductions. I don't really care.
Search, Toby.
As ek hierdie game lekker maak, ek kan alles try.
Ah, fuck. Ons is die hond.
Dis cool. Kom ons te douche bietjie 'n paar goed.
Kom, Sherlock. Maak die deur oop vir my. Hier daai garden shade. Wat jy niks by kon doen nie.
Ja.
Yes. Jou kordak gaat rond.
I don't know so much. I'll see. Ja, is jy nou alweer so ver voor jy? Heb jy hier rondom jou
Come
te
on,
sien? Hy
Toby.
weet sommer.
We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case.
The best nose on the British Empire.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts. Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let us try to find out what tool. The fibers from this cut appear to be different. The fibers from this cut. If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
Oh.
Oh.
Mr. Blinkhorn het vir my 'n boodskap gestuur. Oh. Hallo Tannie.
En nou terug weer? Sal maar nog met uitvind onder wat ons val. Want ek dink jy ons val onder sement. Ek ons val onder construction. Ja, anyway, sal maar dit nog uit.
I agree.
Uit
Okay, ek weet nou wat nou die hond saam. Oh, hier is die doggie.
Okay, jy nou So jy is nou waar jy nou besig.
Ek het nou net daar opgedaag met die hond.
Nee, sorry. Hallo. Jy my so. Ja, dis is so nie.
Search, Toby.
Kom mee. Ek snap jou.
Search, Toby. Speel ek met die hond. Dis nou funny.
Okay.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
Moenie ga hier, jy wat voor my
The
is.
scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Ek moet haal. Oei, so is die ander.
Ek is nog nie klaar nie.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before fleeing by climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
I wonder why they chose such a winding route. Waar is die hond? Daar staan die hond nou en chill.
This hook might be useful. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty. Bags of seed.
Ladyship.
Some empty bags were recently moved.
Oh, dis dit al binne, lyk dit my.
Back to
There's
Baker
something
Street.
glittering at the bottom.
Vat die hond huis toe.
So lekker wel die.
Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Hoekom sal ek nou daar binne sit?
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall.
Ja, okay. Hoe kyk jy elke keer deur die simpel teleskoop?
Nou, jy het alles sommer klaar saam. Hulle het sommer klaar, Randall's guilty.
Joe, ek het baie goeders hierso. Lekker man.
O, kyk jy nou eens na jou deductions.
Ja, kyk nou gaan na my deductions.
Ja, ek weet nie so mooi nie. Ek het nog dink dit kan so gou klaar wees nie. Dis vir daai een, hè. Daai een, hè. Could be. Oh, nou vat dit iets anders. Okay, nou het ek het omgedraai en nou moet ek sailor suspect soek. Ek gaan maar die anti-hand sê. Maar jy sit nog steeds hier.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
Nee,
You
ek
are
is
a
nog
wizard,
bezig met
Mr.
deductions.
And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery.
Yes, it is up to us to solve this mystery.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to...
Is jy alweer besig?
Ek het gou met hulle straat kom praat. Ek is nou nog hier by die Abbey. Of hier by die mense.
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Okay, so sy praat van 3 mense.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship? We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
That's it. Goed. That was funny. Well, Lestrade is weg. Look, I found your mistress's silverware, says it. Like, oh, you really are clever as they say. Indeed. And that's all what they say. Pisane. Ek wonder of hierdie vrou hom doodgemaak het. Hierdie is voel te maklik.
What should we do next, Holmes?
Sorry, ek lees nou hierso.
Ek het hulle
My
twee
analysis
goed
table.
afgekom.
It
Kyk nog steeds na daai antie.
Wel, ek gaan vir jou wys hoe lyk myne as jy wil sien. Dis wat ek dink.
Here it is.
Kijk, ik heb het nog gelezen.
The shipping company,
Geen
the
gezien.
Adelaide, Southampton, London line,
ja.
and its address. Interesting.
Zie dan
It
even
must
mij
be
op
the
mijn phone
place where they
sturen.
keep the records. including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the
Ja, moet ek
specialist.
vir jou 'n foto stuur. Ek net so daai video ding stop.
Venster voor
Right.
Wiggins. I need only go to the window.
Would you come upstairs, please?
Dis wat ek het. According to
At
my
your service, Mr. Holmes.
productions en wat ek
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I
Ja,
need the
ek
crew
het nou-
list
ek het
of the
dieselfde-
Rock
ek
of
het hom omgedraai
Gibraltar in
soontoe.
1893 and their
Ek kon
current
hom klaar
employment.
op 'n ander kant
I'm
sit.
straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
So ek kan eens op
Do you
dieselfde
really
pad
think you'll
daar
find it,
so.
Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
so
Put
dis
it on the
terug,
table.
byt
I'll
is
take care of it.
vir my.
Good work, young Wiggins. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the
1893.
7th.
Ja, gaan ek dit kry in die koerante. 1993.
This list shows
Ja?
this. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Het sal seker heel moontlik natuurlik nou weer die laaste ene wees, né? Nee, so.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. I do not think that this.
It's from and to. November 12th, oh hello.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Oh, it arrived on the 12th. There we go.
I do not think that this sailor has
goodness
any
gracious.
connection to the case.
The specialist.
Alright, ja, hy is ook weer reg. Oh, what's going on?
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case. I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Stuart.
I do not think that this sailor has any connection to the case.
Willeke.
I do not think that this sailor has
Hooper.
any connection.
No,
I do not. I do.
And he. Okay, so it's only the one guy.
This
3 hours
list shows
later.
this.
Oh, dat is nog niet klaar.
This list. This. Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Okay. It'll be that one.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. Cutting people out there. Foxhole and Dunford, you know. Rogers, Talcott.
This
wow,
officer is
dat
still
lees
at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Huh, het ek een van die ander manne gemis. I miss a guy. Oh, there we go. Ja.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
Okay.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
So there's also light here.
Telling you.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
Go find him, Mr. Wiggins. Sometime later.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her. From when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right, if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night?
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Ja, die man het er ook kwaad gemaakt, joh.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No. There is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor. and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope. What should we do next, Holmes?
Go. Oh!
Ja, sien dit en dit doesn't match. Maar as jy hierdie kant toe gaan, dan gaan hy seker match. Dis 'n kort een hierdie.
Ja, jy kry die final dan.
Ja, ek het nog een ook gekry daar. Maar ek weet nie, jy kan hom shimmy dat dit die 3 ouens is. Dit kan daai ou wees.
Ek gaan hierdie arrest Captain Coker vat.
Nee, omvat. Ek gaan gou eers terug huis toe. Gou kyk of die tannie iets anders sê, hierdie vrou.
Nou, ek gaan nou vir jou sê wat ek kry, dan kan jy jou keuse maak.
Oh, what a...
Ja, sy is
Please
klaar
leave
gevra.
my Mary.
Okay, so we moet 'n besluit neem hier.
Holmes, don't look at me like that. I don't know what to think about all this.
Jy hom reggemaak. Jy hom net gearrest.
Nee, ek luister.
Oh, wat het jy gekies? Het jy hom arrest? Dan gaan ek ook maar daai iPad gaan wat ek hier het. Ek skiem hulle saamgewerk.
Ek dink ek gaan my keuse verander.
Nou dit. Oeps.
Ek nee, dit is hy. Maar ek gaan hom absolve.
Hoekom?
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crockett?
Right up.
Sal ek ook seker moet verander, lyk dit my.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes,
You would not have managed to protect her.
till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything
Ek
clear.
wil die read
And
pala
it is the one
ending.
that should be disclosed to the police. I
Hier,
am the
okay.
only
Ga jy sê
culprit.
hoekom ek hom absolve?
Mary had
Hou
nothing to do
absolve.
with it.
Nee, wel, ek luister
Nou,
na die
it is time to
eindstorie
end
hier, so.
this.
Ja, raak hy sommer aggressief hier.
Jy kan niet zo maar gaan. Maar ek gaan hom absolve. Through that. Dis reg wat hy gedoen het. Hoe hard.
You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but
That's
there has
my
been
moral
quite
choice.
enough death in this case. Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
Het hom reg. Maar ek weet jy wat ek dink ek heb self nog heel tyd die ouens man. As ou so daaraan dink, hy het haar dalk vasgebind. Of die dronk gehad het al vasgebind.
Nee, dis wat ek nou wil sê is, hy het haar vasgebind om het te stage.
Of dit, ja.
Want hy sê mos, haar eie man het haar gebliksem.
Ja, ja.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
I don't think inside the box. I don't think outside the box either. I don't even know where the box is.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary
Okay,
It's true.
it is time.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes,
You would not have managed to protect her.
till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything. Now it is time to end this.
Kom, ons moet dit weer doen. Dat ons praat met die man.
Nee, ek sê presies. My moral choice says... Hey!
Please forgive me,
People
Captain
solve the
Crocker.
case the
I wish
same
only
way,
to test
93.
your sincerity.
People make
And
the
your
same
words
moral
and deeds
choice,
have far
60.
exceeded my expectations. See here, Captain Crocker. We'll do this in due form of law. You are the
Oei, nog
prisoner.
ene.
Watson, you are a British
Kew
jury.
Gardens drama.
Captain Crocker, the evidence shows that you acted without premeditation and used reasonable force to protect an innocent victim from her husband's brutality. Your devotion pushed you to attempt to kill yourself in order to protect the one you love. Now, what say you, gentlemen of the jury?
Not guilty, my lord.
Vox populi, vox Dei. You are acquitted, Captain Crocker. So long as the law does not find some other victim, you are safe from me.
Mr. Holmes.
It is a great responsibility that I take upon myself, but I will give Lestrade an excellent lead, and if he can't avail himself of it, I can do no more. Come back to your lady in a year, and may her future and yours justify us in the judgment which we have pronounced this night. Inspector, I'm afraid that the murderers have escaped us.
What? Do you mean to tell me that you failed? Never thought I'd live to see the day.
I mentioned the murderers, not the case. It is obvious that the crime was committed by 3 criminals who cannot be the Randalls.
You really think so?
You only need to find a gang of 3 thugs wandering around. I can trust you to do that.
If they exist, I'll catch them.
You'll find someone, I have no doubt of it. Goodbye, Inspector.
Ja, gaan we met die in. Dat die Sani terugkomt.
So wat het jy nou?
Ek het selle 93 en 64. Kew Gardens drama. Hoe is nog? Hoe is nog?
Ek sê dan weer.
Oh wait. Okay. Kom ons Kew Gardens drama ding hierso.
Hoe gaan jy om nou job?
Ja, wat? My stuff download nog anyway.
Whatever's going on.
Myne stop
Hello,
pause.
Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
Van 11 uur
What?
af. Is nou amper 11, amper
Where
5,
have
dan
all
kan ek
these
hom
wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed
Wat
to
'n
take a
moral
sample of
decision
honey.
jy gemaak.
But it worked, Watson.
Sal
We
jy
will have
dan
honey
ook op zo.
all year round.
Ridiculous.
Ja, they say
and
most of the statement
dangerous.
die
They're
bly die voel die
domestic
vrou
bees.
gehoor.
Apis
Oorlog.
mellifera.
Ja.
Such industrious
Die saai.
workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. Sy so gou vorentoe. Dat was 'n lang trip.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
What are we doing, Holmes?
Let us find someone who could help us.
Ja, loop nou. Dankie.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time.
Voel Miss White is die culprit.
Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favor for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you
En
have
wij doen
met,
Sherlock.
and Miss White.
Hij touch.
Ja, ek sal nog nie weet nie. Jy's nou weer hastig jy.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Ja, kom eens even
Thank you.
aanstaan.
Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The 2 of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear. Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house?
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the colonial collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
What should we... Do not touch.
The plants were here. All of them were stolen.
Do not...
Here is a list of the stolen plants. According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. Blood. This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash, most likely a head wound. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed.
Oh.
The esconson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection Room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection.
Very strange. The smell is strong. It is a detergent. This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. These windows were perfectly cleaned. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
Oh, mis iets.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. This is one of the outlets of the ventilation system.
Okay, ek mis nou iets. Wat's in uit my pakke?
Ja, maar my Watson het daarom nog hier ingekom he. Die ding sê ek moet nog 'n tee gooi hier, maar ek sien niks hier.
Colonial.
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
A task list for Albert, compiled by Martin Hamish. Sweep out the palm house, scrub the toilets, clean the storage shed tools.
Ai, Here Watson wat so in die pad kom.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only. I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again.
Okay.
Palm house. Water lily greenhouse. Water lily greenhouse. The court.
Sherlock, sal jy loop asseblief?
Dry. These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. Dry. There is a smell of burning.
Oh, frick. What happened here?
The remains of a protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not. A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A broom handle was half burned.
Can you view change?
R.
Ja, nou dit af. Ongelukkig die verkeerde knopje gedrukt.
Ik heb het al 40 keer gedaan, maar ik ben blij onderdruk per ongeluk.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Ik weet niet wat ik verkies.
Ek swap so tussen die twee toe ek dit uitgefigure het.
Colonial. A map. Nest. Direct.
I need my imagination to make sense.
Ventilate. Sea. Reserve. A water tank. A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A ventilation.
It should, maar ik kan niks met hom doen nie, okay?
Locked. C. Lock.
Oh, Watson. Always in the way, son. How are you even good at what you do?
Cologne. Net. Director.
Ach, dan gaan we weer die goed doen.
Reserve. Water. Drop. Ventil. C. A map.
Oké, whatever. Ja, hij is nog steeds wet.
C. Ventil. Dry. Water. Half.
Oh. Een paar mouse gemist.
Locked. Locked.
Kom, frikkie, loop, dat jy is.
Ik denk dus dat ik een paar deductions maak.
Lock.
Ja, ek hardloop nog hierdie hele nursery flat toe.
Locked.
Alles is locked. Julle Larry Sanis.
It's off to Scotland Yard, I see.
Was jy al deur die hele nursery gehardloop?
Nee, ek volg die clues.
O. En jy ken my,
Goed,
ek hardloop by die plat ek.
Dus ek sê ek volg wat hulle vir my sê.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Hoekom wil jy nie toemaak nie? Oopmaak nie.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
Okay, maar jy was nou nog iets hier binne gewees waar hierdie ding bly sê ou moet tee druk. Kom nou eers gaan soek wat dit was.
Ja, ek het dit klaar gedoen.
Okay, maar ek mis nog iets. Oh, here we go.
These boot marks are fresh.
En ek sê
The traces are thinner in some places. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here.
Fucking ou toppies.
All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
Okay, ek het nou net die laaste en ek het die footprints gemis. Waarom moet jy die man pause? Hey?
Huh?
Oh, watch the sequence.
No, it wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that. No, it wasn't like that.
Huh? Wat het jy gedoen met die sequence ding? Hey?
No, it wasn't like that.
Jy nou sê
Okay, kom ons try daai. Oh, okay, ek dink ek get it. Nee, rukkie gevat.
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection Room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident? Or a murder, then, I wonder.
Okay, tyd vir deduction. Oor, dat is de volle 2 goed.
Ja, ek het ook gedink, ek het nou deduction.
Hoe is het, hoe kom jy off to the jaw was? Okay. Scotland Yard.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready. It's ready for autopsy then.
Oh, thank you, Watson. At your service, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Holmes. En nog iets hierbinnen voor mij?
A beautiful feather pen of a good make.
Oké, nou is ik weer terug op pad Montague Gardens.
A membership card for the London Crest Club. This watch is of great value.
Oh, Uncle Dick, man. Kijk die kant weer eens.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination. No redness, stings, or bruises. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination, so that we can
proceed.
Nothing suspicious.
Nothing suspicious here. Something on your chat.
There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Oh, seriously? Yeah.
The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs. The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death. The lungs are congested and edematous. The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant.
Ooh.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological. My suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning. Plant poisoning, to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for interrogation?
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson. It is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building? I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
Sherlock Holmes is a freaky child. Actually, ek wil eers huis toe gaan. Ek hoef my manne snor en staf gaan insit. Ek is seker ek behoort jy nou al te kan, hè? Die Watson snor. En 'n bietjie top het of 'n ding, hè? Moet my afro gee. Ja, niks van die ander goed is nog gaan lokken. Ja, alright dan. Dat is cool, hè? Dat is ook maar goed dat ik zie.
Wat?
Botany.
That is not the one I need. Here it is.
Symbol in a broken pot.
That is not the one I need.
A glyph, so Egypt.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
Ja.
That.
Okay, it's not history.
That is.
Dan voel ik nou. Ik kan niet denken waar die dan. Wel, museum art. Nee. Ik is nou door alles. Wel hier is.
Yes, we shall. Now I have the keys to the country.
Waar was die dan? Gaan ons maar deur almal. Nie een van daai nie. Wow. Ek ben helemaal gefluis.
That.
Ook ek hardloop nou soos 'n mal ding hier rond.
Waar kom jy nou rond? Jy verdwaal by die Joel.
Miss White, Miss White.
Miss White is 'n bietjie racist. Okay, obviously die ding niks nie. Yes, exit, because I don't know what it is there. So let's go for this one. Okay, definitely not art. The pots did not belong there.
Object of interest. What's an item pattern?
Okay. Okay, obviously is nog niks hier oor daai nie. Ons gat ook dan.
Yes, I am he.
Are you he?
I am he.
Okay,
Yes, I am he.
Het niet gewerkt. We gaan terug naar die Joel toe.
This way you can expensive perfume scene.
Hy kan alles sien, hè. I think it is time for you to open the doors, sir.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, oh, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
As deputy director, how is your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better. You see, every Tuesday he would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression. Great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we say. He was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That and...
And?
He had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
An eye for the ladies, they say.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before, and now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was?
Oh, yes. He forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he... why, he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Locked.
Toen mag ik kan eerst weer bij verkeerd komen. Of moet die blijde deur kan opsluiten. Zijn nog hier?
Wie?
Hierdie frakkie.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah, at the moment I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the Deputy Director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? Well, that is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively. With indifference.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Toby!
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again
Was jy so
soon.
ver voor, Sani? Jy jaag dan verby, jy.
Nee.
Jy jaag dan
Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
Ja, niks, ek sê net dit. Nee, dit is te doen. Speel teen my natuur.
Jy speel wat teen jou natuur? Hoekom?
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish.
Oh my goodness, die ding gaan moeilik wees, gaan hy nie. Ah!
Sien, jy is besig met ander goed.
Ja, ek is nog by die plantplek. Ek het nou net die sleutels gekry, ek nou in hierdie eenman se kantoor nou. En nou maak ek sy syf oop.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Oh. Oh, jy is vanaf na die huis toe gejaag, nee?
Waar jy my?
Ek hoor hom, ja. Oh, shucks.
Gloves. Waterproof aprons.
Do they grow dangerous plants here?
Ah, you mate.
It appears as though the protective equipment is missing from here.
Jy hom al klaar gemaak.
Ja, ek het hom uitgesoek.
Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Locked.
Holmes, Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
Ooh.
Ah, jy moer man. Hoe kom is dit nou? Okay.
Dit is een moeilijke een. Hoe zou je lijken? Zo, niks met hele linken. Yo. Wow. Oké.
Oké.
Dat is niet. Let's see, no se gap, so you can niet al je wezen. Oh wow, hoekom is hierdie slot so moeilik? Oh, right. Oh wow, dis al wat ek moes doen.
Open.
Oh, stupid can you be?
Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces. Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting. Father and I, Kew Gardens.
Ja, hy vat sommer 'n ding.
A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish studied.
So die sê lê. Ek kon sweer dit was aan hier. Ja, daai ene man.
Albert's locker.
Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea.
A rejection letter from the British Royal Naval College.
Oh, we will open it.
Young Albert, standing with a woman in front of London University.
There is this multi-stage fucking lock.
Miss White's locker. These jewels must be worth a small fortune. Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to...
Wat mis ek nou nog hier binne, chom?
A vanity purse. It is of...
Okay. So. Myself nou 'n bietjie dink of hy fucking multi-stage lock.
Jy weet dit soort.
Hmm.
Waar het jy?
A botany book. This student's book belongs to...
Chemicals, a sufficient quantity for some serious experiments.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory.
I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants to respond to their environment
study report. This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes. What should we...
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory.
Gold dust? Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Oh, we need a good nose.
Dink ek moet 'n bietjie huis toe gaan.
Jy ook vir Toby gaan haal?
Nee, Toby is klaar.
Weet jy Toby klaar?
Ek
As jy na my is in hy kamer gekom het. O, het jy hom gaan haal en het jy ingekom en toe terug en toe weer terug.
This area serves as Martin Hamish's office.
So ek sê, ek volg die...
Jy doen wat die klou sê.
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window. This certificate belongs to Martin. We can see the interior of the... An award presented to Martin Hamish. A master's degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. These young plants must be delicate. It is a bust.
Evidence required, okay.
I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place. Here it is. The marble fragment that we found.
Ek het 'n moes, 'n klomp goed wat ek moet gaan opsoek en gaan opkyk en gaan toets en nee man, jy ook. Of het jy dit klaar al?
Ek het van dit gaan probeer doen, maar nee man, ek moes nog nie heeltemal nie. So ja, ek verf maar nou is alles regtig Watson uit die pad uit, jong. Oh my kitty on. Hierdie blerrie voel, nee.
Open.
Eers hier rondloop asof ek die plek besit. Ek weet wat ek doen, Tanya, moet jy nie worry nie.
There we go.
Materials for These leather gloves are new and of good quality. This place serves as Albert's office. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir. And good day to you too. But...
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew
Yes, I
Gardens.
am he. Sien
Are
jy kan
you
by haar
working on a
uitgekom. Ek was nog
case?
eens by haar nie. Jy wil hy niks op die hande sien nie? Ja, so. Wat mis ek? Oh.
Yes, a theft of plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Oh, it's quite understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such a terrible misfortune.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic, and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Why so?
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
Thank you, miss. None of the 3 people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Yes, it is. It is obvious. Okay, let's go fetch a dog, shall we?
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens.
So jy nou daai goeters op.
Mhm.
Wat weet jy nou sê, hoe hy maak haar. Although ek het seker hierdie laaste een gekort vir dit.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Oh. ons maar nog eers. Nog hier om dit te doen nie. So.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the Search, Toby. Search.
Search, Toby, search. Ek wil nou nie lelik wees nie, maar of hierdie hond is vek uit. Want eter die ding hardloop stadig.
Ek sê mos, ja.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found. This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle. I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. There's never been about anything else.
Okay, now that one.
Are you?
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. There's never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
En hoeveel water gaan hierdie stukkie gras gee?
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. so it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room, in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Oh, is baie goed doen.
Jy praat daai ding.
Ja nee, ek klik mos net op een, dan klik ek op almal. Ek het die altyd lus vir daai deduction tries. Klaar met die. Het jy goed gekry in die orkus? Hallo?
Hallo, knabbie.
If I go there, Toby will wait for me in the cab.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us. The Kew Gardens symbol.
Okay,
fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. A fragment of a flower pot.
Die ding aansit dat hy kan begin download.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock.
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I am the Green Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom
Understanding,
that
idea.
emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate. Glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there. None. Not worthy there.
Seker hy symbol.
Do you have...
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his greenfly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
No, we did not steal. We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
What?
Wat nou?
Seker net daai nou is.
Our God King's name is Treewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, I like you. Here is the holy key to the wisdom place. Holy donation can you make whenever you so wish.
Was jy by die ander
So
plek?
much.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Raw sap, it is called. It is near the entrance.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation. That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of. It is rather delicious, and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like a form of cocaine.
You came to make a donation? Glory.
This must be tree.
As jy by die syndicate nou.
This.
Excuse.
Ek het nou gesloot.
Jy is hastig, joh.
Hoe is ek nou hastig?
Skiep jy deur die praat?
Hoe?
Ek vra, skiep jy deur die praat?
These instruments are. This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the same as the ones we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments. A vast amount of opium. Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
Ja, allemaal van hulle. Mooi man, okay.
A tropical plant. A tropical plant. These three. A tropical. A trop. A tropical. A trop.
Osmosis and photo.
This can.
Follow my path, and better you will fear.
Ons vat die arme woefster ook seker 'n bietjie huis toe. Het jy toe daai symbols gekry daar in die arkhuis? Jy het toe daai symbols gekry daar in die archives.
Ja.
Erg. Ek het almal saam gekry en toe die ander twee nog nie weer nie.
Nou in elk geval eers
Ek moet nog die twee broken pot stukke vind.
weer broken pot stuk oor die potte wat jy.
Ja, wat jy hulle gekry.
That is not the one I need.
Wel,
Ek het die een gekry met die Divine Syndicate, maar dit was dit.
find out what the Divine Syndicate is concealing. Ek is ook klaar hier dan nie. Wag, moet seker met hom praat, ja.
Hier is nog niks hier by die goed nie. Ek weet nie wat om te soek aan nie.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle. A colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes? What are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
What if it's poisonous?
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So, what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens.
Tuurlik sal dit 'n intense blurry ding wees hierdie tyd van die aand.
Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you. I need to take a... Red sediment, just as I suspected.
Nice.
This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory.
Is 'n foutwerk wat ek verkeerd het van.
Wat jy hierdie potplante se symbols gekry? Want ek het als deurgesoek hier. Want jy antwoord my ook jy.
As jy heel langs gaan.
En dan?
Gaan jy wat sê hy?
Is jy by die newspapers?
Nee, nog langs.
Ek kan nog langs gaan. Ek het dit eers geweet toe, man. Dankie. Ek het nie geweet van die ene nie.
Here it is.
Dankie man, ek het eers gesien daai nie. Ek is ook maar lekker in die slaap ek. Vergeet van die derde rak.
Here it is.
Dit was nou baie makliker gewees het.
Wat?
As ek geweet het van daai blerrie stukkie. Dus jy het alles gevul.
According to the deadly plants information, in order to perform our experiment, we will need fertilizer and food. Caterpillars should do nicely. According to the
evidence required.
According to the deadly plants information,
Ja.
in order to perform our
Ek
experiment,
verstaan ook nog nie wat ek daar nodig het nie.
Fertilizer and food. Ons gaan gou maar terug na die gardens toe. Dus ek het die caterpillars.
Ja, ek het ook 'n caterpillar.
Ja, misschien wel weer een morgen klam. Dus kom ik er. Kan nog wel 12. Zeker al way past your bedtime.
Just be careful with the plants during your inspection.
Set up experiment, dis vir ek.
Excuse me, but I have to tidy up this room.
By Baker Street. Sien, daar's jy by my.
Oei, koekeloero.
Wat?
Hoe weet jy ek's by jou? Waar was ek by jou?
Nee, ek meen ek kan ons hoor wat jy sê.
Oh, Mr. Montague Dunn.
Jy is ook nou op pad om die eksperiment te doen met die plant wat die
Ja, ek dink ons is nou so te sê op dieselfde plek, maar ek weet nie waar gaan nou die fertilizer opspoor.
A ventilation system.
Okay, maar kom sê object of interest. Die karkel by die mense se plante broken.
Dry.
Ag, rarig Watson, jy is nie fucking ernstig nie. Here weet nie. Jy is so pyn in my hol, en jy altyd in die pad.
According to
This green, grand, mystic fellow seems rather suspicious, Holmes. What should we do next, Holmes?
A very good day to you, my friend. Is Inspector Lestrade in?
I'm sorry, sir, but the
Locked.
Ja, dan moet ik nou rarig dit nou. Oeh, Christmas.
Wat nou? What's happening?
Follow my path, and better you will feel.
Ja, hou hem wel in, moet ik hem open houden.
Osmosis.
This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle. Perfect, Watson. We can.
Ik wonder of dit gaan werken. Eens kijken.
Wonder of jy nou gaan doen het wat ek nou gaan doen het.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic
Okay,
vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. It appears to have fallen inactive after being disturbed. My word! It shot a spike at me after I stabbed it with a pin. I imagined that its reaction would be ferocious if I increased the strength of my attack. My...
Right now.
Ek is besig met die experiment hier.
I find the behavior of predators utterly fascinating. How interesting. What a strong and effective defensive mechanism.
Ja, ek is nou besig met hom. Ek gaan dalk hier stop. Ja, maar hierdie plant in die middel is bly die gretig, jong. Hy lyk na die culprit.
No.
This plant becomes inactive after...
Kan ek jy guess?
It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. It closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. I am interested in what might occur if the prickly plant should shoot at it. toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary. The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Jy terug Kew Gardens toe. Ek het nou net die plant eksperiment klaar gemaak. Ek voel ek wil hom daar stop vir jou.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall get patient.
Ja, ek dink ek gaan hom daar koel na die eksperiment.
Did you?
Ek dink ek gaan dit tot kol.
My future is here. It's never been about anything